Today we're going to keep talking about word problems. A word problem is a real life situation that you use math to solve for the answer. So last week we gave you word problems that were based on weights and different measurements and things like that. We're going to do something similar this time, although it's only going to be focusing on liters and milliliters. So we'll get to that here soon. But as you notice, we have this here. Now this is for the this is in your take-home packets this week. There are 6 problems. Make sure you do all of them, except for number 2, which we're going to do right now. I'm going to go through number 2 with you, and then I will give you the rest of them to do on your own. So last time we talked about the steps to solve a word problem. The first thing we want to do is understand the word problem. The next thing that we want to do is figure out the steps needed to solve the word problem. The third thing is going to be to do the calculation. The final thing is going to be to check the calculation. So let's get started. Mrs. Jackson bought 2 cartons of milk, which are 2.4 liters each. Her 3 children finished 1.2 liters on Monday and 950 milliliters on Tuesday. How much milk is left? Okay, so is there anything in this word problem that we don't understand or need clarification on? Something you may have noticed that I did the first time I read this was, well, what's the conversion rate of liters to milliliters? Because in order to solve it, we'll have to use that rate at some point. The conversion rate of liters to milliliters, I will write it up here, is 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters, okay? So before we even start this problem, we need to get this up here if that's something we know is coming, all right? I think everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. Now we're going to read the problem and we're going to write down the important information that we're going to use to solve the problem. Mrs. Jackson bought 2 cartons of milk, which are 2.4 liters each. Two cartons, 2.4 liters each. Her 3 children finished 1.2 liters on Monday. Okay. Let's see. 1.2 liters. Let's see. Actually, hold on a second. Would be drunk on Monday, okay? Then and 950 milliliters drunk on Tuesday, okay? 950 milliliters drunk on Tuesday. How much milk is left? All right, so from the sounds of it, we've got this much milk to start with. We're going to be taking away this much milk and this much milk. And we're going to be finding out how much milk we have left over. Okay? This is a subtraction problem, as we can see. So that was actually our next step, is what steps do we need to take to do this? Well, ultimately it's going to be a subtraction problem. However, we need to do a couple of things before we get to that part of it. So let me show you what we're going to do next. So we need to actually choose the strategy, a plan of action. So let's write this as let's write this as an equation, okay? We have 2 cartons, so 2 times 2.4 liters, right? We're going to subtract the 1.2 liters that her 3 children drank on Monday, and we're going to subtract the 950 milliliters that her children drank on Tuesday. That is what we're going to do. Before we do that, we need to get all of these to be the same measurement, or the same capacity. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to use our conversion factor here. 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters to turn all of these into the same metric here. Now, let's see. What I usually do is I look at the end of the problem. How much milk is left? Now, it doesn't tell us whether they want to know how many liters are left or how many milliliters are left. So when they don't tell you how much or which metric to use, which metric unit to use, I would choose the one that seems easier. Here we have 2 liters, right? We have a liter metric here, we have a liter here, and we have a milliliter. The easiest thing to do would be to just turn this milliliters into liters. So let's do that, okay? So for every liter, we have 1,000 milliliters. So let's say I have milliliter here. The easiest way to do that is divide that by 1,000, okay? Now if we divide by 1,000, we basically go 1, 2, 3. We move the decimal over 3 spaces to the left. Since 1,000 has 3 zeros, and we're dividing by 1,000, all we need to do is just go 3 zeros back. Three decimal places back. That's what I meant to say. So instead of 950 milliliters, we now have 0.95 liters, okay? All right, so the other thing we got to do is we have a multiplication problem right here. Remember our order of operations, we always multiply first before we do any addition or subtraction. So let's go ahead and multiply 2 times 2.4 liters. Remember this 2 is coming from the fact that we have 2 cartons at 2.4 liters each. So 2 multiplied by 2.4 gets us 4.8, okay? And then finally, we just need to we need to bring down this portion of the equation, which is subtract 1.2, okay? And then subtract this one. All right, so everything is in liters. We'll go ahead and put this in liters there. Everything is in liters, which is good. We have already done our multiplication, so now it's just a straight subtraction, okay? Now, at this point, we've got our plan of action. We know what we need to do. All we have to do is subtract these. What we want to do next is we want to estimate what our answer is going to be. Now, the reason that we estimate, it would be easy to just go ahead and do this, but what if you make a mistake while you're subtracting this and you don't catch it and you just write down your answer? You could very easily miss it by just that much. So an estimation is something that gives you kind of a ballpark estimate of where I should be. So let's take a look at this, and we want to estimate, we want to round to the nearest whole number. Well, yeah, round to the nearest whole number here would be the easiest thing. So 4.8 rounded to the nearest whole number is 5. 1.2 rounded to the nearest whole number is 1. And 0.95 rounded to the nearest whole number is 1. So I can say my estimate would be 5 minus 1 minus 1, which gives me 3. So my estimate is going to be 3 liters. So hopefully my answer is close to 3 liters. All right, so let's finish this. Now that we have a plan of action, now we just got to do the calculation. So 4.8 liters I subtract 1.2. 8 minus 2 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. Remember to bring down the decimal there. Okay, so that is 3.6 minus 0.95. One last thing to do. 3.6 minus 0.95. It would be good to go ahead and add this 0 here to help us out. So let's just go ahead and we're going to have to borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 9, we're going to have to borrow again. 15 minus 9 is 6. And then bring over the decimal, and then 2 minus 0 is 2. Okay, so what's this say? This says that 2.65 is our answer. Now, is our answer in liters or milliliters? It is in liters, because all these three are liters. All right, so after the children drank 1.2 liters on Monday and 950 milliliters on Tuesday, we have 2.65 liters left over. Is that close to 3 liters? Yes, it is. This is close to 3 liters. So there's a good chance that we've done all our calculations right if these two are close. That is how you do it. Now, some of these are going to be more involved than that. Some are going to be less involved than that. The important thing to remember here is to follow your steps. I'll post the steps up online for you so you can follow them, but it's make sure you understand the problem. Part of that is understanding the conversion here. Okay, 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. The next thing is to write down your plan of action or the important information, then write down your plan of action, then do the calculation and check it with what you have estimated. That's how you do it, guys. What we'll do is if you'll finish these up this week, we'll go to probably a different style of word problems next week. We want to keep doing these for at least right now. Thanks for tuning in and good luck. We'll see you guys later.